My fellow Americans, here I am back with you. I'm still alive, by the way. And this is going to be a very, very good one, very, very important one for you to proliferate the wisdom. Before I start, I want to talk about what I'm saying up there. Wake up, Fox News. You know, the only media you have out there is Fox News. They're not telling you everything because they're afraid of the American government, too. I just want them to wake up and realize they better start telling you everything, you know, and especially the first three men I always refer to, Limbaugh, who's not part of Fox, he has his own network, and Glenn Beck, and especially Bill O'Reilly. I know he knows the truth. Maybe he doesn't want to face the truth, but he must know it, that these are Machiavellian tyrants that want to control the world and they care nothing of the individual. The day that you vote them out and get people in that, you know, care for the individual, knowing that the individual makes up the total mass of the people. Okay, you guys don't realize this. I know that, and I'm speaking to the three most prominent ones, you know, and the others that I know. They're going to get you too. They can't do it without getting you. They can't have you winning this ACORN battle. You think you won this ACORN battle? Come on, guys and girls and women and men, wake up. You know, you'll abolish ACORN, but they'll splinter groups and do the same doggone thing. It's just like the drug war. You kill a few drug wars, and people are bringing in drugs, and you put them away, and more come up. It's not going to stop unless the American people and you proliferate the wisdom and the knowledge that these people are communists and need to leave office, and you need to get people in who are not communists, not attorneys. It's going to happen again. In fact, you know, you all in the news media know about this. You're not saying it much. They're going to take over the whole news media. They're going to take all over communications. What happens, you think, when they do that? They're going to put you out of business. You're going to all be without jobs, and hard to get jobs, by the way. Think about it, you know, men and women. You are very intelligent, very benevolent people. Think about it. Okay, I'm putting Joseph Schultz back up on there for a very prominent reason. Watch this section as I'm talking, and you'll notice that the troops don't shoot him the first time their sergeant tells them to, and then they order him to do it again. Think about that, okay? You know, these political tyrants don't really want to kill you. It's of necessity that they do. It's necessity to proliferate that philosophy for the good of the all. They don't know they're evil, basically. Okay, somebody's asked me to tell you this, so I'm going to tell you very, very, very fast, okay? My background. I come from a Jewish background. In fact, my grandparents come from the part Near East, and I'm not sure where, but they come from that area. My father fought in World War II for the duration, was a sick man, but he was highly intelligent, not very well educated. He was, you know, didn't get along in society. He's like an idiot savant as far as mathematics. He could multiply huge numbers in his head and come out with the answer accurately. I started questioning. My parents had to go to school all the time, from kindergarten on. I questioned everything. I could tell you stories that you wouldn't believe. And by questioning, I always learned the truth that way. I always brought out the truth. 17 years old, went in the Marine Corps, and I have a distinguished career, and I have literally 6 rows of medals and badges and ribbons, and was wounded many times. 3 times, I only had 2 Purple Hearts, but I have a pilot's license, including flying a Russian jet fighter and everything else I can fly. I have a full captain's license. I've authored 2 books, one Religion, Innocent, Guilty, and one Lead Follower, Get the Hell Out of the Way. I've lived in 10 different countries and experienced their lives, not on a level that politicians do, on the grassroots level. I've stayed in tents where Arabs were living. I think, well, I said I developed a system for the space shuttle that keeps it from being hit by lightning, and it's very important. You hear it all the time. They stop it from. That's the system I developed under a company called Infinity Incorporated. I worked it as a spook for the FBI for almost a year, and which I helped bring down a terrorist. And when they let him go, I caught the guy, the religious terrorist. He was going to blow up a bunch of clinics. He was going on a 10-year tour of doing that. Okay. I could go on and on about me and my accomplishments and everything else, and you know, I don't care. I only did that because a friend do. I want to start giving you more information about Islam, since the recording that I have out there is not being seen very much. Okay, it's not just a religion of evil because it's a religion of evil. It's a religion of evil because the people are not very evolved. You know, it was created about 512 by this insane man. They haven't come and got me yet, by the way, but they're going to, I'm sure. And they were not taught to be educated. The only thing they were taught from childhood, from that time till many years, till almost the present, is just to memorize the Quran, which is absolute obedience. They've just started becoming educated, and that's why the ones that have come over to America and they start seeing good. So you have a chance to convert them peacefully, okay? It'll be a slow transition, but it's possible to do it, especially if your religious groups get involved with that. But they were raised from children to memorize the Quran and follow the Quran absolutely for many hundreds of generations, actually. It's only in the past maybe 50, 60 years that they've allowed them to become educated. Of course, they can't control them when they become educated, and they don't really allow it. They just it's just something that's being expounded upon. Okay, I apologize for this, what I'm going to say now. Okay, I love Israel. My heritage is from there, really. But we have to, as an American nation, stay out of all these evolving other nations and religions and everything else. And we have to leave Israel alone. And this is what I'm sorry to say. It'll be for the betterment, because what will happen is Islam will die off in this country. And then it'll spread throughout the rest of the country. And it'll reach a certain point that they'll go after Israel. And when they do, remember the Six-Day War, Israelis aren't easily beaten. Israelis have nowhere to go, just like me, I don't have anywhere to go. So when they strike out at me, my back's against the wall, I've got to strike back. Israel will eventually have to use the nuclear weapon. And then it'll start changing. Remember your history. Japan was a religious nation. They were too... they believed the empire was their god. That's why they died for him. The same thing will occur once the nuclear bomb, and they know that the whole world thinks that they're wrong. They'll start looking, and they'll start changing and reforming their religion. And they may even abolish it. I don't think they'll abolish it, but they'll at least reform it. So Israel, I'm sorry to say that, but you're going to have to do that someday, and it's just inevitable. Of course, if the American government keeps going as it is, you'll just be killed off slowly, as well as they will be, and you'll be dominated by the American government too. Okay, so many more things to do. You're not spreading my video, and what you're doing there is you're lining yourself up against the wall, or you're going to end up, your kids are going to end up dead or crippled or tortured for the rest of their life. Start spreading this video. By the way, I like to make a little challenge in here. I would love to debate anybody. If I debated anybody in the liberal side of politicians, I make them look like a fool. They would leave the stage, by the way, because they just proliferate lies and obsessions, and just, it's sickening. But if I debated Bill O'Reilly, for example, who doesn't really, I think he knows the truth, but he doesn't emanate the truth, it would be a good debate. So I put that challenge out, and maybe you can write letters into Fox, and Fox should be your only news media, by the way, and tell them, hey, why don't you have this guy on Bill O'Reilly's show and let him debate him, for 15, 20 minutes. I mean, after all, I guess Obama's going to be on Letterman for the whole show. What a catastrophe, too. I don't know how you could live with that, people. It's simple. You know how you could live with it? Just tell everybody, all the sponsors for Letterman and Letterman, never watch Letterman again, and never buy anything from the sponsors. I told you, that's the way to change this world. Financially, by not buying from the people, like GE, for instance, has gone completely liberal. I don't think they've gone liberal. I think they just figured, well, they got to join in because the American government's going to become, so controlling that they might as well join in. But you could stop that too. Heck, look at all the aircraft industry that's controlled by or flown by GE jet engines. Hey, call up your airlines and say, what's your aircraft flying? Oh, it's this air. Oh, it has a GE engine? Yeah, I'm not going to fly at it. You really don't know the power you have, but it's like most of you are just sitting back waiting to see what happens. You probably can't even believe some of the things I'm emanating to you, but it's all the truth. Sit back and look at it. Think about it. Look at how it's been accentuated and exaggerated and expounded and gone 10 times as fast. And it's not just the Obama administration. They're accelerating it, of course, but it's been going that way, and it's been Republicans too. There's only a few that are willing to stand